when I picture like Kellan's desk, like it would have like that portrait sitting on the desk, like a picture of that Snubbull.
If I
Winthrop Snubbull fellow.
If I can get my printer to work, I'll do it.
Yeah, have that like frame sitting on.
Yeah, I will.
Welcome back, Pokemon Party people, Pokemon Princes, Pokemon Poppers, Pokemon. What's another P, Kellan? Pokemon Poops.
Primrose Everdeen.
Welcome back to the podcast, you Pokemon Palooza enthusiasts. I am Graham, the one who clearly doesn't know anything about Pokemon or alliterating with Pokemon, and that's why I'm joined on my Pokemon anime rewatch journey with Kellan, the Pokemaniac. How you doing, Kellan?
I'm great. I've got ribs in the slow cooker, so I'm smelling
baby.
those all episode. It's gonna be great.
Ribs in the slow cooker. What kind of ribs? Talking pork ribs?
I think so. I just took them from my parents' fridge. I steal their meat when I'm home.
Going shopping at your parents' house. That was like a meme from a few years back.
Because I have no money.
That's fair.
Like, literally.
I also used my slow cook. Everyone send Kellan money. Okay, so I also you should have like a what do they do? Like
sub to my Twitch
in this
Cash App.
Cash
E-transfer me, please.
Yeah, people will be like shout out their Cash App on stream.
Except we don't need that. We're in
Big
Canada.
Mike 420. Oh, that's why they use Cash App. They don't have an e-transfer.
They don't have. Apparently, that's what I heard.
Oh, shout us out in the comments if that's true. Also, okay, another thing about Canada specifically. Okay, so we had a comment, and this is also about my. Why can I not use technology properly, Kellan? Am I an old man? So we had a comment this past week on a video from our good friend of the show, Tristan, who asks us questions quite often. And it was about calling us out because I didn't mention some Disney Channel twins. I wasn't.
Yeah,
aware.
how dare you?
Okay. So I've been trying to reply to him, and it's not working. So I'm just gonna reply on the podcast. And the fact is, at least you were different because I think out in the middle of nowhere you had satellite, but for basic cable in the cities, Disney Channel wasn't a thing in Canada. We had Family Channel, which did like replays of certain things. And this might come to a big shocker. We didn't have Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. Instead, we had this one called YTV, and they had some anime, but it was like different anime, and sometimes they would change things. So, like, everyone, look up the Canadian Dragon Ball Z opening, because it is hilarious and amazing.
We didn't have Nickelodeon?
I didn't have Nickelodeon, did you?
I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was YTV. I guess it was.
YTV was the basic cable one, yeah.
Yeah, we had YTV. I guess I don't think we had Nickelodeon.
And they did reruns of some Nick stuff. Like
there's a lot of Nick shows.
They did like
on Nickelodeon,
SpongeBob, right?
Yeah. And Discovery Kids. That was the other one that I watched a lot.
And I didn't have that.
That one had like Jungle Run. And Jungle Run kicked ass. And I loved that show.
And Zabuma Fu? Did it have that?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't watch that.
Okay. For some reason,
Jungle Run was the shit.
I remember Zabuma Fu. I don't know why.
And also, surprise! It's edible, incredible. That was a great show too.
That's the name of the show. Surprise! It's edible, incredible.
Yeah, it was a kids cooking show. It was fantastic.
I thought that was like where kids like ate random stuff.
No, it was a cooking show.
They tried to see if they survived or not. This shoe was not edible.
But as a kid, I always wanted to go on Jungle Run. Always. Right. So I had no concept that it was like a British show. Yeah.
It was a British game show?
Yeah, it was British. It was a kids game show where the jungle guide guides 3 kids through the jungle collecting monkey statues, which will earn them time in the Temple of the Jungle King in the attempt to retrieve the golden monkey. All while during their quest, there are 2 monkey servants of the Jungle King trying to thwart them named Sid and Elvis. And the kids have to go through a series of rigorous tasks like climb against the waterfall to guide water into the pillars to retrieve the monkey statues, or go down into the ancient pyramid and get out before the traps you in, or go through the maze, the old maze, direct your teammate through the maze and get them out with all the jungle monkey statues before the maze traps you in. It was very cool.
What happens to the kids that are trapped? They kill them, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Just slaughter.
If they're trapped in a game, then the team has the decision. They can either leave the person in there and they'll just be down a teammate and that person gets nothing, or they can sacrifice all the monkey statues they got in that game plus one or two more to get their teammate out.
That's kind of
So they can
That's a
yeah,
cool
they can sacrifice
mechanic.
time.
Yeah.
It was such a cool show. And it looked really good too. Like it looked like a real jungle.
We should do literary hours sometimes where instead of like, what the establishment would consider literature, we can only pull from like Kellan things. Okay, it has to be like a
shit I
Kellan
watched as a
thing.
kid.
Just like a very Kellan thing. And maybe this is something that ironically you would have a tougher time doing than me, just because like I have this sense of what a Kellan thing is, because when you're
Mhm.
talking about it, it's like my mind kind of like goes into another dimension. I'm like,
You're
and
like,
the
"What the
weird
fuck
thing
is he talking
the
about?
weird
This seems
thing is I'm
stupid."
pretty sure I've seen Jungle Run. And yet when you talk about it, it becomes this whole new thing to me. It's like the
There's a possibility.
Kellanization of it.
There's a possibility that when you guys were visiting when I was little,
Yeah.
that it was on the TV at some point.
That's what I'm pretty sure happened.
Probably what it was.
And because I do have memories of this one trip where you were watching shows like that, and I was trying to get you into Dragon Ball Z, and you just wouldn't have it. You're like, no, anime's stupid.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other big thing from my childhood between us, I remember, is you telling me being very adamant that Ness was the best character in Melee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, did I think Ness was always my favorite? I feel like you just outed me. People in the comments are gonna be like, Graham was a Ness main? Ew.
You always refer to him as the best character.
Oh, interesting. That didn't age well, did it?
No, and you also taught me that Swell is a big spoonful of poop. So
Okay, so you're gonna have to explain that one, because we are on a public podcast and that sentence makes no sense.
But out of context, it's fine. It works.
You're not
We're
gonna
playing
give the
Monkey Ball.
context? Okay,
We were
thank
playing
you.
Super Monkey Ball one night while his family was visiting our
We used to
family.
play a lot of Super Monkey Ball on the
A lot of
GameCube.
Monkey Ball,
That
a
game
lot of
was
Melee.
so good.
And there's one level in there called Swell. And I didn't know. I was young. I was like maybe 7 or 8. I didn't know
Yeah,
what
I was
the
gonna
word
get
swell
like
meant.
6. Like you were like
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
Something like that. I didn't know what the word swell meant. So I asked them what swell meant. And Graham told me it's a big spoonful of poop.
To which Kellan laughed so hard and would continue to laugh all the time when we saw him until you like hit puberty maybe. But like through your like child years, if you just said swell is this big spoonful of poop, he would just lose it.
I was a weird kid.
Well, yeah, but like in a good way. Everyone's gonna bring a little weird. The only normal people are kidding themselves.
Yeah. How did we get here?
I don't really remember, but I wanted to shout out that the Canadian Dragon Ball Z opening is hilarious. Kellan, do you even know what the Canadian Dragon Ball Z opening is? Or anyone?
Take a wild guess.
Okay, unfortunately, no. But
No.
it's just a guy screaming Dragon Ball Z over and
Nice.
over. Whereas like
Nice.
the Japanese one is like a full song, Shala Head Shala is pretty good. And then the American one, or at least the Funimation one, is like this guitar riff, but ours is just like screaming. It's crazy.
That does sound wonderful.
Well, I would like to get down to business, and by business I mean nonsense. Kellan, before I get into my list this week, can you tell the audience what episodes we are recapping?
Today we're looking at episode 125, Spinarak Attack, or in Japanese, Irumaru! The Great Investigation! ! Followed by episode 126, Snubbull Snobbery, or in Japanese, Bulu's Magnificent Life! !
Perfect. So in Spinarak Attack, I was really drawn in by the amount of times that Officer Jenny refers to the gang as professionals. Did you notice this? This random gang of kids shows up in the town, and she refers to them as professional burglary catchers or something, crime fighters. Professional crime fighters. And she says that all the time. She's like, good thing you're professionals. So that got me thinking, Kellan. That was pretty weird of her. What other professions would it be bizarre to do that about? So we have the top 10 professions to randomly label children as professionals. Gang of kids shows up, you're doing this job. Well, number 10, essentially what the episode's about, but detective. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that's weird. Like, some
Mhm.
kids show up and you're like, oh, we've had like the biggest spree of burglary we've had in like 100 years. Countless priceless gems are gone missing and artifacts from all over the world. Hey, you 10-year-olds, you'll solve it, right?
Let's ask the 5th graders what they know.
Yeah. It's like Blue's Clues for murder.
There you go.
Number 9.
Blue's Clues SVU.
CSI Blue's Clues kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that show could easily be about forensics, right?
Bum, 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 bum. Woohoo! Bum, 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 bum.
Well, that's the Law and
Number
Order
9.
theme. Gotcha. Number 9, veterinarian. So, kids love animals, right? But you're not going to have them like deworm your cat.
Maybe I would. You don't know that.
Would you?
No.
Okay.
I don't like the assumption.
Okay. That's true. That was a very assertive way to ask the
Mhm.
question. Kellan, would you have a random child deworm your cat?
That's very personal, Graham. I don't think we want to go there on the podcast.
I also think deworm is like the most visceral phrase for a veterinary activity. Like when I hear like deworm a cat, doesn't that just make you like, ooh?
Don't
ooh.
they just give it like a pill or something?
Yeah.
Isn't that enough?
It's not as
Yeah.
gross as it sounds, I think.
No.
But it sounds mighty gross.
Mhm.
Number 8, electrician. You ever want to be in for a shock? Get some kids to rewire your house.
Yeah, no, that's not a good idea.
There you go. Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
good idea. I agree.
No,
I agree.
That's it.
What might you need to get out of that sort of zoning mess you find yourself in is number 7, a lawyer. Hey kids, I'm being sued for defamation. You 10-year-olds will represent me, right?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I have no joke. I'm out of it today, apparently.
We'll get you back in. The best
Yeah.
part of that, Kellan, having a kid lawyers, is I could see that happening in a Pokemon episode where someone is
Yeah.
like they come to a new town and someone's like, I'm being framed for murder. And Ash is like, we'll save the day. And
I
Brock
could
knows
see
like
that.
random legal documents.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
even worse
number-
than that, what is the elevated state of that? Number 6, a judge. Okay? Just skip the lawyer step and just have them make the executive decision right up there.
Mhm.
What's it gonna be, Ash? Firing squad or lethal injection? I know that's not what a judge decides, but
Yeah, only if they're judge, jury, and executioner. Then
right,
we
like
decide.
Judge Dredd. Like Judge
Yeah,
Dredd.
yeah,
You know what you're
exactly.
quoting, right?
No, I don't.
Oh man, you should watch 2012's Dredd. That movie's sick as fuck.
Mm.
Number 5, a pharmacist. Because let's get real. If a kid said they're a pharmacist, that's just a drug dealer.
A licensed drug dealer.
Well, if you're assuming they're a professional, and they're just selling dime bags, that's a drug dealer.
The kids can't even read what's on the bottles. Have you seen those medicine names? They're ridiculous.
That's true. That's why they give them brand names that
Who
all sound
named
like
those
sci-fi novels.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm taking Laxathor. But the medical term will be like Sutranella Formidolafin. There you go. That sounds medical.
You need what's this prescription? You need Hexatrixabilacamenis?
Hexatrixaphiladelphian?
How about Advil?
Perfect. Well, and number 4, again, elevated states. Where does that take us, Kellan? And this is actually one of the worst ones, I think. Number 4, a surgeon. Now, Ash has worked at a hospital, but could you
He
see him
has.
slicing and dicing? That'd be wild.
Yeah, the entrance exam for children's surgeons is just can they play Operation without hitting the buzzer?
Yeah, right. Remove the funny bone. Remove the
Charlie
what's
Horse, that's the tough
one?
one.
Yeah, what's the horse?
Charlie Horse.
Charlie Horse. There you go.
Charlie Horse is the hard one, and the elastic band one. That one was always weird.
I would like to see a Pokemon episode about surgeons, though, to see how they use Pokemon in surgery. Like, is there a Pokemon that would be like extra precise? At pincing? Maybe they use scythers instead of
Yeah, I was gonna
scalpels or
I was
something.
gonna say that they're in surgery and like nurse, scyther.
Nurse, bring out the scyther. Oh, we're gonna cauterize the wound. Get the Charizard ASAP.
Number 3.
Number 3, we're escalating, and this would be a really bad job. But you know what? Given how some things work, who knows? Who knows? Military general, okay? So we're going to war tomorrow. Give me your best and brightest 10-year-olds. Although now that I say that, that's basically the plot of Ender's Game.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, Kellan, you have read. We've talked about books before. You've read, you taught me about a book series, Unfortunate
Did I?
Events or something.
A series of unfortunate events.
There you go. And that was something I haven't read.
I have not read Ender's Game. I am currently reading 1984, finally.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I was supposed to read it for first year English in university, and I did not.
You decided to do it now?
I read the appendix and wrote my essay on that and got an 80%.
Holy fuck. That's good.
Yep.
You got an 80 from just reading the appendix?
Yep. It's my crowning university achievement.
That should be
Not my
on your
short films.
CV instead of your grade.
It really should be, yeah.
All right. Number 2. This is really Pokemon World specific, but a leading Pokemon researcher. I want to see the episodes where the kids just straight up pretend to be Oak.
That sounds boring.
Doesn't it sound kind of plausible?
I mean,
Trick
yeah,
their way in.
Boring.
Boring to be Oak?
I mean, it depends on who you are.
Or boring to watch.
Both.
Yeah. Well, you know what wouldn't be boring, Kellan?
Number 1.
President of the United States.
I like that you did that, so then we don't have to deal with the ramifications here in Canada.
Right, exactly. Well, American politics are
watch.
just way more fun than Canadian politics anyway.
I don't know if fun's the right word, but they're definitely more eventful.
They're fun if you pretend they're a TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
They're fun if you just view them as an episode of Scandal.
Yeah, the 2016 season got real weird.
It was quite the twist there. I didn't see that coming from a mile away.
They brought in a celebrity guest and became main cast. It was strange. Very weird.
Now we're in the Dark Brandon saga. Jover or whatever. I only know the memes. I only know the memes.
Dark Brandon is a very funny meme.
I only know the memes. I don't even get their significance. I do find myself saying it's Jover now and then. And I'm like, I gotta stop that. I don't even know the relevance.
That's how every piece of your lexicon becomes part of your lexicon. You start saying it ironically because it's funny to do so, and then you realize you're saying it unironically.
Right, now you're just saying it's Jover like that's a word.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a word.
Contact Webster. Let's get it in there.
Yeah. All right, Kellan, I would really like to talk about these episodes. Thoughts and feelings.
That'd be great.
Yeah. How do you rely on them? We're so deep in the filler territory that I looked ahead. I'm like, how long does it take them to get to Violet City?
Yep.
I think we still have 6 episodes or something like that.
Yep.
It's the road to Violet is 15 episodes long.
Mm-hmm. And it's only going to get worse. For comparison's sake, Indigoleague took 80 episodes to get to the season finale. Johto League takes about 160.
Holy cow.
Yep.
That is crazy.
And it's split between 3 seasons. Starting in Johto, they split the region arcs
right
up a lot.
Yeah.
So there's we're in the Johto Journeys now, and then we'll go into Johto League Champions and then Master Quest, and that's the end of the Johto arc.
Yeah, and I don't hate it because it gives you room for really episodic storytelling to shine, which I like. I do like episodic storytelling, but it's that carrot in front of the horse when the carrot isn't even that relevant. I'm they're going to Violet City eventually,
all the time. They've been going to Violet City for a month.
We join our heroes fucking around.
Yeah. I think that they did this at least partially because they didn't want to pull an Orange Islands again. They didn't want to have to make up a whole thing to get them to the next generation.
Yeah.
Once they realized that this was going to be a thing that went on for a long time.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It was more strategic alignment with Pokemon as a brand. I'm guessing this is when the games, the cards, and the show really synced up.
Yeah, probably. I don't have the sources on that, but that it just
that's the feeling though. Yeah, I definitely get that
proper,
as well. Yeah. And of course that's something people talk about now a lot, right? They're well, why the games come out so fast? Well, they like line up with the anime, blah blah blah. So
Yeah. As a point of reference, I think by the time we get to Johto League Champions season 2 of the Johto arc, Ash will have 2 badges.
oh my
That's it.
god.
Yep.
That is not many.
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. I'm not sure.
Maybe 3K.
So,
Regardless, though, these little stories are fun. They
mhm.
let us explore definitely different parts of it, and they're very much like introducing us to Pokemon in depth. Right, every episode
Yeah.
so far has been, oh, here's this one Johto Pokemon. It gets an episode, right?
Yeah. And it also gives us years of content to look forward to.
Very true. Very
We
true.
can milk this baby for a decade.
Milk it like a milk tank. Wonder when
Yep.
milk tank comes.
Probably not for like 60 episodes.
Yeah, I don't. I'm
Something like
scrolling.
that.
Oh, I see it in episode 158. Oh,
Yeah,
right,
so a
because
while.
Goldenrod is when the milk tank.
Whitney,
Yeah,
notorious. All right,
right.
let's jump into episode 125, Spinarak Attack.
Yeah, how'd you
It
like
was a
this
fun one
episode?
to say. It was fine.
Yeah, it was okay. I do
Yeah.
like the gentleman thief kind of metaphor arc thing going on. I thought that was fun. I like the world building too when like, okay, this area uses Pokemon in a certain way, and seeing that different side to Jenny that we'll get into it
Hmm.
was fun. Also, other than that, it's a little bit typical, right? Like it's one of those I'm just waiting for it to resolve itself kind of.
Yeah.
But I do like those touches.
To open it up, we're in Catalia City this week, which is not from the game, which is famous for a legendary thief. Oh
Ooh.
no. And then Jenny drives by, Brock chases him. He's like, Jenny could be driving that. Oh my god. And then he trips on something.
I mean, that was a good assumption, I guess.
Well, that's
Every police
sirens.
officer we've met so far has been a Jenny. But don't chase after a car, Brock. That's just
What are you, a
asking for
dog?
it. Yeah, what are you, a dog, Brock? Take that,
Come on.
Brock. Oh, he's a dog, all right.
Mm-hmm. So he trips. Ash says, well, that was a short trip. Nice one, Ash.
Nice one.
When suddenly a giant spider with a smiley face on its back falls from the sky.
Well, Misty doesn't even realize it's a spider at first
Mm-hmm.
because this spider it's a green Pokemon with a face on its back, and when it has its legs in, all you see is the face. So Misty's thinking it's cute. Look at this smiley face, and then the legs come out, and Misty cannot handle it. She is terrified of bugs. She screams.
Yeah, this is Spinarak.
Right. So he's a spider Pokemon. He is cute for a spider, but he is insect like. Like it is a little
Mm-hmm.
bit creepy.
He is a spider, except he
Yeah.
has 6 legs instead of 8.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So he's
Oh, so he's not a
technically
spider.
not a
He's
spider.
he's
Yeah,
technically an insect.
I guess so. Spinarak also sucks.
Oh, really?
So
Does he
yeah,
get an evolution?
he evolves into Ariados. It's like a Beedrill situation. It's decent early game, but
Mm,
it falls off really fast because its
gotcha.
stats just are not up to snuff.
And remind me because I do not remember. Is this Pokemon kind of like that early game bug Pokemon?
Yeah, it
Then.
is. It
Mm,
is the early game. It's the Caterpie Weedle equivalent of Gen 2.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Is the show kind of doing that a bit? Like, are these like early
I think so.
Pokemon?
Yeah, because
Like
Hoothoot's also an
Hoodoo
early.
would,
Hoothoot's
but
the original bird.
Heracross and Donphan would. Though.
Heracross, you can get as early as Violet's, or not Violet, second gym.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's in Gold and Silver, but I know at least in Crystal you can get a Fanpy really early,
Oh, okay.
like before the first gym.
You know, talking about Johto, I know I should finish Black. I should probably do that if I'm going to play Pokemon again. But talking about this, I like kind of want to play Crystal.
It's great. Maybe for a post Johto thing, we can make you play Crystal with some weird restrictions and see how you fare.
Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah,
Could be fun.
we could try something.
So I think it's just Silver you can, or just Crystal. I think you can get Fanpy really early, but still
Okay.
you can.
Well, let's get back to the Spinarak of it all. So the episode, we get the cut now, and we see 3 thieves who are clearly Team Rocket, but in these like French thief costumes, and they're tiptoeing along. They're gonna get Meowth to pick this lock. However, Meowth breaks his claw on it, so that's not great. And Jesse's kind of mad at him. Says that the black arachnids Meowth opened thousands of locks. You can't unlock one. And Meowth retorts, He probably had thousands of keys.
That's not how lockpicking works, Meow.
Nailed it. So that's where we learned the Black Arachnid. That's the name of this like legendary thief.
Yeah, the very famous cat burglar. A cat burglar who named himself after an arachnid and has a cat Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a very convoluted metaphor.
Yeah, very weird. But meanwhile, James picks the lock, properly, lock picking. He's very proud of himself from this. He's like, I'm a burglar.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I love when they're very literal, right?
Yeah.
This was like he had become burglar in that moment.
I did it. Jesse, look, I did it. So they go inside this building. James finds a bowl worth a lot of money, apparently. There's like ancient pottery or something in here.
Yeah. Yeah, it belongs in a museum, that whole bit, but they're spotted by like security or something. And that's when Jesse yells, "We're Black Arachnid too," and they run. Well, that's
James,
not what she says exactly.
They do they do payday. They say, "Go use payday," and James throws his bottle caps at them.
Oh yes, and these
And then
bottle
they
caps
run.
are from a previous episode, right?
Yeah, this is continuity. This is James's bottle cap collection. We've seen this multiple times.
And we know that Meowth can't learn payday, so this is
Correct.
James simulating payday.
Yeah.
So scene of the crime later, Jenny's there, and she's talking about how someone's clearly imitating the Black Arachnid's crimes. And she's got the Spinarak that we met earlier that freaked out Misty, ordering to reinforce webs. So they're using the webs as some kind of security. But that backfires, because look who they caught in their giant web.
Oh, it's the gang, and they're all
Of
webbed up in a big ball. Oh no. They get him out, and they're like, "Oh, sorry for all this." And then she sees Pikachu and Togepi. She's like, "Oh, are you the famous professional crime fighters we heard about?"
And that's what got it all started. What a weird thing to say to some kids.
And they're like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I got a letter from my sister or something from New Barktown talking about how these kids with a Pikachu and a Togepi helped solve a mystery of a stolen Pokemon." They're like, "Oh, the Totodile. That makes sense now." Even though they didn't get paid for it, I don't think. So they're not technically professionals.
No. And like, they weren't getting the Totodile back on like official police service. Right? It's just like they happened to save the day, but like it was a vigilante action, I suppose.
It was
in a way. And at best just accidental to the police initiative. So yeah,
it's just that they knew it was Team Rocket. So.
Exactly. And they've got this personal, they have this personal Saturday cartoon vendetta with Team Rocket.
Yeah. The gang is formally introduced to Spinarak now. It's a tradition in the city to use Spinarak, not Growlithe, because back when the original Black Arachnid was active, his Meowth would use Payday to scare away the police until Officer Jenny. This Officer Jenny's descendant, I guess all Officer Jenny's descendant, from 8 generations ago, and her Spinarak caught them in a web, and even Jenny's Spinarak in the present time is a descendant of that one. And since then, they all use Spinarak to kind of honor her legacy.
This idea freaked me out, Kellan. And I'm not talking about the fact that the cops use spiders. That's fine. I'm talking about the idea that there was a Jenny 100 years ago, okay? That is really blowing my mind. So I've
throwing a wrench into your Ditto theories?
I've been trying to figure out what the fuck Jennies and Joys are, okay? I've seen this popular, don't want to steal someone else's theory, but there's a popular theory on YouTube that Jennies and Joys are Pokemon that learned to talk. They're like a species. But
I don't buy it.
I don't like that.
No.
So we're back to clones, okay? Does this mean that they've been cloning the Jennies for that long, for hundreds of years? Is this like an ancient cloning ritual? Or do the Jennies reproduce asexually? Like, do they just like spawn a new Jenny? Yeah. Or when a Jenny dies, does like a new Jenny like rip out of her corpse? Whoa!
I am going to put a bet on the fact that it is a silly joke born from budget constraints.
Oh, come on. Kellan, you hate cop-out answers. And we're discussing a cop.
Hey-oh. So, Brock wishes he were a Spinarak.
Ugh.
But Ash is into helping. They're gonna help out with this investigation because they're professional crime fighters. Brock's really the one that gets them into this mess. He's like,
Oh,
yeah,
he's white knighting
we're professional.
again.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're crime fighters. We can do this. We'll do this for you. So on the clock tower now, Jesse vows that they'll be known. They'll be known for their crimes. They'll be famous.
And this is great because Meowth is sitting there eating out of the pot they just
Yeah.
stole. He's tired of climbing, so he's chowing on some cereal.
And James doesn't want to keep using his bottle caps.
Yeah, he's kind of upset Meowth won't learn Payday.
And then Jesse has an idea. A la the Black Arachnid, they'll announce their next crime in a letter to the victim and then slip out right under the police's nose.
Ooh. Yeah, apparently that's what the Black Arachnid did, right? Send a message to them. Persona 5 fans, this would be like the Phantom Thieves calling card. I bet you some of our fans like Persona. Anyways, they do that when they're going to invade people's mind palaces. Persona's sick, Kellan. Or Persona 5 specifically is about like these teenagers who can go into like this alternate universe where they have like different powers and stuff. But when they do that, they can break into people's minds, and their minds are a metaphor for like their sick and twisted crimes. And then by like defeating whoever is in this castle or whatever, they can like make the person's heart redeemed. They can save their heart. It's pretty twisted, and some of them get really dark. But
all I know is that Joker's neutral special is gun.
Yeah,
yeah,
gun. That's the Joker. He's a thief.
I am interested in Persona 5 at some point.
He's actually probably okay. We'll get into literary hour, but I think it is relevant to bring up Joker from Persona because his design has similar inspirations that the Black Arachnid does.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into that with my literary hour, but they're actually both drawing from the same piece of classic literature.
So back at the station, they're all around the table, and Brock's like, "It's time to bring to order the Crime Fighters Committee comes to order now." He's like, "Jenny, was that good? Did I do that good, Jenny? Was that good? Was that good?"
Well, and Ash just hears order in that, and he's like, "I'll have a burger and large fries." And Pikachu and Togepi are into that. They're like, "Yeah, us too."
Yeah, I love it for them. They want. I'd give them all the food. Brock yells at him, of course.
A true professional doesn't act silly or distracted while discussing such a serious case, is what he says.
Then a cop comes in, a non-Jenny cop. The Black Arachnid is planning a robbery.
Are they non-Jenny cops? I almost saw them as
they were.
Well,
they're guys.
I know technically, but for some reason when I see this show, I'm like, Jennies are the only cops, okay? And the men are like cops' assistants. Maybe they're like a lesser race of cops.
Maybe the Jennies are all the sergeants.
Yeah. And these other miscellaneous police are just like, maybe they can't have the guns or something. I don't know.
So they're after some rich guy's trophy. They're at the rich guy's place, and he's like, "Why are these kids here? What are they doing here?" And Jenny's like, "Oh, they're professional crime fighters." And he doesn't question it. He's just like, "Oh, good. Glad to have you."
Immediately into it. There's also some presumptions here that the Black Arachnid is a he, like the current Black Arachnid. Mm-hmm. They just assume that. Also, the rich guy, who I labeled in my notes as the BRG, bald rich guy, he has this giant Blastoise fountain outside.
Yeah.
Which is equal parts kind of cool and just like, awfully ostentatious. Like, really off-putting.
But the water comes out the cannon.
But it's kind of sick. Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sweet, yeah. So Ash, in this whole conversation, he's like, "Don't worry, we've never lost a single case." Fucking Christ, Ash, you've had one.
Yeah, the professional label's gone straight to his head.
Yeah.
And Jenny has a kind of a funny joke here. She's like, nothing can go wrong when we've got Pokemon covering our backs. And she turns around, and that's where the Spinarak chills.
Like, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I mean, that's smart, too. You got eyes on the back of your head.
Oh, yeah.
And Spinarak has eyes on the back of his back.
Have this giant spider on your back all the time.
Oh, it would. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be freaky to have a spider that size at all.
Period, yeah. At least they seem nice, though.
Yeah, they seem pretty happy. Like, spin.
Yeah, they're happy.
So later, outside, Ash sends out all of his Pokemon. We get to see the full party. So we have confirmation, it would seem, that he only has his Kanto starters and Heracross and Pikachu now. So he's an open slot still.
Right. And we get some good music here. I wrote it down as like Pokemon Stadium song. I don't know what theme that is, but it reminded me of it's one of the battle songs, I think, right?
I did not catch that one. I don't know.
Maybe it's not a battle, but it struck me. Anyways.
Well, in this moment, Heracross sucks off Bulbasaur again. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
gonna be
he goes straight
running
for the
gag.
the goods.
Running gag, baby. Let's go.
Well, and
You love
Bulbasaur's
it.
gonna travel with this guy.
Yeah. Poor Bulbasaur.
All right, so they're gonna have the Pokemon hide out in different places to catch the thief. So Squirtle goes to the pool, Bulbasaur in the garden flowers, Heracross gonna go up a tree, and Charizard go wherever you want. And so Charizard pretends to be a statue. He like stands next to the Blastoise statue, like freeze.
It was so good.
That was
so
funny.
And Ash is like, you think he can stay there the whole time? He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I got this.
I got I clearly look like this Blastoise.
I love obedient Charizard. He's so much fun now.
Yeah, I know. It is great to see that art,
Now that he's not
that
a
chapter
dick.
kind of closed.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just like by and far Ash's like most kick-ass Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely. He's a fucking Charizard.
Yeah.
What are his other Pokemon? Bulbasaur and Squirtle.
Well, yeah.
Come
I mean,
on.
Pikachu would be kind of the next, I guess,
Yeah.
but only because they kind of make him seem like a magic Pikachu.
Yeah, there's something about Pikachu. Maybe we'll learn someday. Probably not.
Probably not.
So it's midnight. The humans are waiting inside the mansion. It's nearly midnight, rather. Ash notes that the thief mustn't be very polite because he's making them stay up past his bedtime.
Ash screams, "We don't have a bedtime." I mean,
No,
Brock screams, "We don't have a bedtime."
He wants to look cool in front of Jenny.
Ugh.
No cool person has a bedtime.
Yeah, cool people have bedtimes, Brock. It's fine.
So the clock strikes midnight and nothing.
Ooh, is it
Brock
a trick?
can't stand up. His legs are asleep.
Well, and the
But-
bald rich guy's grateful because there's no
Mhm.
thief. So he says, "Jeeves, bring in the food."
And so they roll in 2 carts of food, and on the ground still, Brock just yells, "That's very nice, but the cart is on my hand."
Right. Nash will take burgers over burglars any day.
Hey,
But
did
their
he say that?
feast-
I missed that.
Yeah, he does. The feast is interrupted, however. Lights go off, payday rains, burglars are coming through the ceiling.
Yeah, Team Rocket drops in. Uh-oh. And we get a whole different motto this time. Ash screams, "How did they get in?" And we start, "Check your eyes and prepare for trouble. We've got the prize, so make it double. To protect the world from its own greed. To steal all the treasures that they don't need. To work every heist like there are none other. And split the spoils with one another. Jesse, James, thieves return under cover of night. Surrender now or prepare to fight." Meow, that's right. So, okay, I went back and I listened to that song you were talking about. It's just a remix of the Pokemon theme.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like the main
intro
theme, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they used one of those as a stadium thing, probably.
I didn't know where that connection came in my head, but yeah.
But it is a good remix.
No, I thought it
fun.
sounded good, yeah.
Very fun. Team Rocket are offended they're not offered any food.
It's not a
Good.
stakeout, it's a pig out.
The gang and Jenny asks, like, how the hell did you get in past all the Pokemon? They're like, "Oh, we've been hiding in the attic all day since we sent the letter."
And they didn't come at midnight because they just fell asleep.
Mood.
It's even
mood
funnier
right there.
because like their incompetence actually made them seem next level, right? They're like,
Yeah.
they got in and they mixed up our timing, cut us off guard, and it was just like a weird accident.
Yeah. And so they got to get out of there now. So James chucks some bottle caps at them, which
And they-
distracts them enough to get
They
out.
run, and then I wrote down cool heist music. We get kind of a James
Mhm.
Bondy sound running.
And then detective line, great detective moment from Misty. "They're just bottle caps."
Yeah.
And then James is like, "No, they're not. They're not just bottle caps."
I also like don't really get the purpose of payday. Like, would be him throwing coins instead of bottle caps. Would have that made a big difference?
Well, Payday being an actual Pokemon move would have some semblance of like damage and distraction, but him
Mhm.
throwing bottle caps does not.
Sure, but like in the purpose of a human throwing them to run away,
No, it's just stupid.
it's just stupid. Either
Yeah.
way, right? Though, like I don't feel like it's like a big difference.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I noted down some sick music here as they go into this battle.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, as they're leaving, as they're trying to fly off in the balloon.
Yeah.
I did my little research. I believe this is the rival challenge theme from Gen 2.
Okay.
So not the battle theme, the theme that plays when your rival approaches you and is like, "Hey, you're such a pansy ass motherfucker. Let's fight.
Yeah, when your rival named Butt Ass
Yeah,
calls you a pansy.
exactly. But that is that music, and yeah, it is very good. It's very fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
As the balloon flies off, though, it stops. The balloon seems to be caught in a web, in Spinarak's giant web that he wove earlier when he went up into the tree.
Get a couple good Team Rocket lines here. What's the holdup with this holdup? And it's a drag net.
I don't get that one.
Which one, Dragnet?
Dragnet, yeah.
That's a cop thing from like the 50s. There's this old TV show called Dragnet. It's got to do with stings. It's really old. I had this period where I would watch clips of Dragnet on YouTube because they're hilarious. They're like, I don't know. It's the most like straight-laced shit even from like the 50s or the 60s. Like there's like episodes of where he'll like catch hippies and tell them not to do drugs, and it's so lame. It's like poetically lame.
Remember, kids, knowing is half the battle. Thanks, Dragnet.
It's kind of even worse. It's like, is this a marijuana cigarette? I know a guy who did a marijuana cigarette once. First you try it because you just think it'll be fun. You're trying to be cool. You're trying to blend in. And next thing you know, you don't go to school. You drop out and you end up on the street.
I know someone who smoked a marijuana cigarette once. Now he's dead.
It's
died in a plane crash.
It's kind of exactly.
It's very
like
unfortunate,
Kellan. It's sort of hilarious. So the origin of the term dragnet, it says it's a system of coordinated measures for apprehending criminals or suspects. So road barriers, traffic stops, that kind of thing. It's called a dragnet in policing.
Gotcha.
So it's not a good joke because it required a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a good joke if the knowledge is there.
No, that is not a children's show joke in the late 90s.
No, that's definitely there for like the boomer in the room.
Yeah.
who happens
the boomer
to be
in the
watching.
rumor.
Yeah, the boomer in the rumor.
Ooh, that sounds like a really good stage play.
Yeah.
Just the name of a stage play. That's good. Yeah. But it's spelled rumor, like a rumor.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But it all takes place in one room. Yeah, okay. We're formulating ideas here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting start, Kellan. We'll see where that goes.
I love making stories up just based on titles. It's the best.
I kind of agree, actually.
It's fun.
Yeah. Titles first.
So Squirtle goes for a water gun. Bulbasaur Razor leaves to pop the balloon, and then Charizard goes in there, burns the web, which sends Team Rocket flying. Oh no, they still have the guy's trophy and all of the priceless things that they've stolen. So Spinarak shoots his web, grabs a hold of the balloon, and holds it until it deflates and falls right to the ground. Charizard tackles him. Boom, they go blasting off again. James drops the rest of his collection, and all of the valuables fall out of the balloon. Ready for catch, everybody?
Is overboard.
Yeah, and then they tell me not to make jokes or something. There was something weird there.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that. But, okay, so Pokemon are catching the random treasures as they fall. And then we see the trophy, right? That's the expensive thing. So Ash runs for it. He's sure he can get to it, but he's going to miss it. But luckily, Spinarak and Jenny snag it just in time.
No, he didn't miss it. He would have had it if Spinarak hadn't shot the web.
You think so?
He was right under it. Yeah.
I thought his hand was too far to the right.
I'm pretty confident that he was right there, and if Spinarak
bring it up.
That,
I thought he was close, but he was gonna miss it.
No, because then like Spinarak gets it, and Misty and Brock talk about like, oh, you can't win them all, Ash.
You can't always catch them all. That's what he says.
Maybe it would have hit the ground. You're right.
I think it was close though. But I think his hand was just a little bit too much to the right still.
It being slowed down by the web let Ash get underneath it, but it would have hit the ground if not for the web, I think. All right, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll seep that one.
My like for you, Kellan, goes way up though when you see the evidence and change your story.
When I admit I'm wrong for once.
Well, there's too many people. I think that's one of the fundamental issues, in the world is when people don't admit they're wrong, right?
Yeah, but that's too serious for this podcast. What happens next?
Because we agreed on whether Ash could catch the trophy or not, means there's a hope for world peace.
Yeah, we can say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it bounces off Spinarak's web, and then he grabs it again, pulls it in right into Jenny's hands.
Mm-hmm.
The trophy has been saved, and so it's the next day. when they're leaving. Not at sunset, because sunset was a couple hours ago. So they would have
Yeah.
had to wait like almost 24 hours. That wouldn't have made any sense. Brock
Nope.
offers their help if she ever needs any professional crime fighters again. He'll even give her his number.
And Misty goes, "She's got your number, believe me."
And they head off. The gang heads off back towards Violet City for the 10th time. And then in the woods, Team Rocket sobs about losing everything, blah, blah, blah. Jesse blames the guys.
Jesse is screaming at them.
Yeah, as usual. You give an entirely new meaning to the saying thick as thieves. James takes that about his weight.
Yeah, James goes, "You know I'm on Weight Watchers."
That's not the first time Weight Watchers has been brought up in this show.
That's true.
I'd have 2 nickels.
And that's just
Weird.
surprising. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is the episode. And weird trivia, apparently this is the only time we've ever seen Payday actually used in the anime to date.
And it's by a human.
No, it was like in the flashback.
Oh, in the flashback.
We see the black arachnids.
I thought for a moment they were counting James as the only
No, because we've
Payday.
already seen James throw bottle caps
Right.
trying to be Payday. But apparently this is the only time it's ever been seen in the anime. Just wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
In 20-some years.
Okay, so I got a literary hour, and I said it connects the Joker from Persona 5. Okay, so it's the idea of a gentleman thief. Specifically, the writings of this French author Maurice Leblanc. He had this kind of infamous character.
I loved him on Friends.
Yeah, the monkey. Maurice
No,
LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, I thought you meant Maurice. Isn't that the
That's
name
Marcel.
of the monkey? Oh, that's Marcel.
Marcel.
Ah, my brain is brutal. It literally combined Marcel and Maurice. I'm like, I can't tell the difference. You know, there's like dyslexia. What do you call what I have? Where 2 words become 1 word.
Just being stupid.
Ah,
Got
yeah,
him.
You're right. Okay, so Maurice LeBlanc has this recurring character in a bunch of like crime stories called Arsène Lupin. I think you pronounce it differently in French. Maybe it's like Arsène Lupin or something like that. But Lupin is like has inspired like a ton of things, and there's like TV shows about him, both modern and old. And it's the idea of the gentleman thief. So he like wears a top hat and he looks all uptight and French, and he sneaks around and he steals things. And they were put out as short stories. So the first one ever, I believe, is called Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Burglar, with the chapter The Arrest of Arsène Lupin. And this is about like, I think they tell it on a trip to America. So there's like ship guests and there's a bit of like a crime drama going on. But then he like steals the jewels off the ship or something while it's going on. So he's like a mastermind thief. Although he's not the first, there's like even older examples of this gentleman thief trope, but he is probably the most popular one. And Joker is definitely a nod to him because Joker's persona, like in Persona, they have personas. Oh yeah, okay. And they're basically
crazy.
JoJo stands where you have like a spirit that like stands behind you, and his persona is named Arsène. Yeah, his persona is named Arsène. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Neato. Let's rate.
Yeah, let's get to the forefront. This is the plastic ping pong pitcher of objective rankings. We're going to pull 2 categories at random and rate the episode based on those categories. What do we got, Kellan?
First category will be the plot.
Ooh, okay. I mean, I do like the crime plot. I like the idea of Team Rocket trying to mimic this old thief. We don't really get much, like, of their motive here, though. I think that might have helped, right? This was very just, like, in media res and kind of ham-fisted in that, okay, Team Rocket's doing this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty basic in that Team Rocket's doing a bad thing, Ash and the gang are gonna stop him, and none of the adults have any problems with what the 10-year-olds are doing.
Which is all kind of weird. But I do like the mechanisms of the plot, which has to more do with like, okay, it's like a crime story. Okay, they're gonna try to catch the thieves by helping in sort of like a stakeout. It's got some nice beats.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I feel like we've seen this kind of thing before, and we'll probably see it many times.
We'll probably see it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's stellar either, though. I think the motivations are kind of weak. I think the episode would have helped by even like I don't know, tying Team Rocket to the original somehow or something like that. Or maybe of giving Jenny and the Spinarak like a bit more time to shine, in them. Because like they're the ones kind of living up to this ancestral pedestal that's left for them, right? Of
Hmm.
the old Jenny. And that is very superficially touched on.
Yeah, it would have been cool if Spinarak like beat the shit out of Team Rocket and then evolved. That would have been cool.
Right. Yeah,
So what are you
redeemed
giving
a
it?
little bit more. What am I giving it? Okay, so the first appearance of Arsène Lupin came out in 1905. So let's add the digits of 1905 together. We get 15 divided by 4 for the number of digits, and we get, what is that? 3.75 is what I will rank this episode.
That was the weirdest way to get to that. Weirdly, I'm higher on that. I think it's like 4.8.
And what year did you push together to get to that?
I don't know. That's a 4.275 for plot. Category number 2. Oh, here we go. It's the pay it forward category, literal cult behavior.
Ooh, okay. So there's cult, yeah, not much literal cult behavior. There's some cultisms, I guess, around the copycatting a thief that does kind of have like a cultness to it. There's certainly like the cult story in the myth of
I'll make an
the black
argument.
arachnid. Yeah.
I'll make an argument for cop-catting. All the Jennies revere an old dead Jenny and all use spiders instead of the traditional dog.
Is the police force a cult?
I would say it's
Hot
something.
takes.
I would say
Here
it's
on
something here.
TCAT. No,
I wouldn't say it's
there's
zero.
a ceremony to it all.
Yeah.
Both in the Jenny's reference of old Mother Jenny and the Black Arachnid as like a myth.
Yeah, it's not a zero. I don't think it's zero.
I don't think it's that high though either.
No, not at all.
This episode's gonna end up a little bit rough overall, I
A
think.
little bit.
Okay, well, Maurice LeBlanc was inspired.
Oh my god.
Literary
I'm saying
descendant
3.5.
of another author, Pierre Alexis Poisson du Terrel, whose adventures were published starting in 1857. So if we take the digits 1857 and push them together,
Jesus
what do we get?
Christ. That's 21.
Divided by 4.
It's like 5.25.
5.25. That is my answer.
Hey, look at me. That was all mental. Look at that.
Oh, good.
So that is a 4.375 combined with a 4.275, which makes 4.325
Yeah.
for Spinarak Attack.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 5-ish.
And literal cult behavior learns to see another day.
I
the
love
forecourt.
this system, Kellan. So this is where we have the pay it forward where
It's a ton of fun.
pick a category that will get a perfect score. It'll give the episode a 10, and then it stays in there unless it gets a 0. Then we remove it in a future
Permanently
episode.
banned.
But like, yeah, it's sort of a Darwinian way of creating new categories because like cult behavior is showing that it has relevance in our minds and our hearts.
Yeah, even if that relevance is completely fabricated.
Yeah, well,
And
it's
we're just
still
trying
relevant.
to make stretches. So, before we move on to the next episode, I have a question from a listener from the comments of last episode, and this isn't relevant to either episode specifically, but more of a general question from Axel Tovar 5 numbers. Says, question for next episode: what Pokemon would you want to have as a pet? Graham, what Pokemon would you have as a pet?
Basic bitch Meowth because I have a cat. But Meowth's pretty sick.
Meowth's not even the cutest cat Pokemon.
I know, but he's like funny. It's like a funny cat.
Only this one. Not all
He's
of
like
them
a
talk,
quirky,
Graham.
weird cat. But there's that Meowth in Pokemon Snap when you hit him with a pester ball, he makes the funny faces.
Yeah.
That was funny. I'm not sure. That one's tricky because I don't, in this world, in our real world, I don't really want to go the pure. This is an old man answer. I'm like, I don't really want like a dragon that'll like burn shit.
It'd be very hard to take care of a Charizard.
Yeah.
Eevee's a good answer. Like, Eevee's
Eevee is a
solid
good
one.
answer, yeah, because it's kind of dog-like and very cute.
If I owned a ranch, I would have some Galarian Ponyta running around for sure.
Oh, nice.
I love them.
I mean,
Ferret.
Eevee is
Ferrets are
definitely
super
needs that.
cute.
Yeah, what about Bidoof?
Bidoof would be amazing. I would take a
Bidoof's
Bidoof.
cute.
That'd be amazing. I'm just kind of scrolling through some Pokemon. Wooper.
Are
Wooper's a classic.
Bidoof
Good pick.
beavers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really have a beaver as
I
a
mean,
pet.
we'll talk about it next episode, but Snubbull. Snubble's pretty fun.
Snubble's
cute.
pretty good, yeah.
I like Snubbull. Teddy Ursa. I would have a Teddy Ursa.
Yeah, so Teddy
Hell,
bear.
I'll take a Delibird. I'll take a namesake.
Except that Teddy Ursa grows up to be an Ursaring, and that will...
Not if they don't battle.
But you know what they say, Kellan? If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. So you're only lying down around. I mean, Ursaring's a brown bear. At least he's not a white bear. Then you're dead.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta go for my boy Shroomish as well.
Is that the guy who hangs out on your shoulder?
Yeah. No, that's Breloom. That's his evolved form. I wouldn't want to take care of a Breloom, but I'd take care of a Shroomish. Those are my picks for the first 3 generations. Oh, Spheal too. And Spheal, of course.
What about one of the plants? Would that count as a pet or a plant?
It's walking around, so I would say a plant, and it eats food.
So you say a pet?
Yes.
Yeah, you said plant.
Oops.
You were like, he's walking around, so a plant.
What fucking trees am I around?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, those are my Gen 1 through 3 picks.
Okay.
Maybe in the future we'll go 4 through 7.
Or maybe I'll get a better
4 through
answer
6.
in the future. Right now, I'm feeling really basic.
It's normal. So.
That's normal. I got the hottest
For
takes
you?
this side of Texas.
Sure you do.
Howdy, partner.
Let's move on to episode 126, Snubbull Snobbery, which, let me just say, they misspell Snubbull in the title card.
Can I tell you something, Kellan?
What?
I noticed it. Aren't you proud?
Yes.
I wrote that down. They spelled it all weird.
They spelled it like a lot of people think it's spelled.
Right, but instead of like a bull, it's supposed to have bull in it.
It's
he's a
snub
bulldog.
and bull. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a pretentious bulldog.
Apparently they corrected this, though, on the Pokemon TV version, which is no longer available now.
No, it's not. I was very disappointed they took that down.
And the 2015 DVD release as well.
You know, all through watching season 2, I was like, it's going to be so nice going back to Pokemon TV because they have season 3. And then, like, a couple months before we got there, they were like, we're closing down Pokemon TV permanently.
Well, I noticed
even
before that, they had swapped the Johto stuff out for the home and stuff.
Oh, yeah. They
Johto wasn't even up there in the first place. Yeah.
But it was up there before.
It was before that. It was like while we were in the middle of Indigoleague, yeah. Anyway, Snubbull Snobbery. So we joined the gang. They're in Palm Hills now, another place that does not exist in the game. This is a rich neighborhood, and that's what connects these 2 episodes together. Rich people. Themes.
And this is basically Palm Springs, Palm Hills, Palm Springs,
I guess so.
I'm not sure.
But look at this giant pink mansion. It's huge, and it's pink.
Yeah, sweeping lawns. I wouldn't want to mow it, Ash says.
Brock wonders if...
Ash thinks that the phrase sweeping lawns means that you sweep the lawns.
Brock wonders if they would let him camp out in the garden.
What do you think, Brock?
Probably not.
So some butlers run by. They're looking for something.
Yeah, they seem pretty frazzled. 3 distinguished gentlemen.
Yeah. This episode's full of distinguished gentlemen.
Very full of it. If we pull the whatever constitutes a 10, the new paid for category. Distinguished gentlemen.
It's a good one. So Misty's found a map of the stars.
Yep.
The movie stars. And Brock and Ash are really bored until Misty tells Brock that there's actresses.
His favorite actresses are on this map. We can find where they live. You can go stalk them in person, Brock.
That's your favorite hobby, Brock, being a creep.
Yeah, so he runs off. What are we waiting for? And then suddenly a Growlithe comes running around the corner in a tizzy, if you will. Something's wrong with it. Something is stuck to its tail, and it flings it off. This is Snubbull.
Okay, so we dex it. Well, first let's talk Snubbull. It's a bulldog,
pink bulldog,
but it's like pink and stands a little bit, kind of.
He's angy. Always angy.
Very cute. He's got kind of like big wide ears and a frown.
Polka dots and a little blue frill around his neck.
And this particular Snubbull has ribbons in his hair. Yeah.
To which Brock says, "Oh, so that means it's a girl." Way to assume,
my
Brock.
God,
Way
Brock.
to assume. Wow.
Way to assume. So they dex it, and it calls it the fairy Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck's with that? What does that mean?
That's one of those weird ones. It is called the fairy Pokemon, and when fairy type was introduced, it became a fairy type.
Oh, okay. I think that I don't really see the fairiness though, other than that it's
I
pink.
don't think anybody did
Oh, okay.
ever.
That's such a strange name for me. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was weird. What was Granbull? Granbull, its evolved form Granbull is also called the fairy Pokemon,
Huh.
and it's just like a bigger, meaner dog.
Yeah,
So
I don't see it. There's
very weird,
nothing
very strange
there's
name.
nothing like elvish about
Maybe
it.
there's
Yeah, I
something
don't
like
know.
in the dex that's like, oh, has magic powers or something.
On a full moon, when Saturn and Jupiter align, Snubbles
Yeah,
get together to drink the blood of the what is the deer called? I don't know.
Stantler.
Stantler.
We'll see it next week. Hey, foreshadow.
Yeah.
Nothing in the dex about it being like fairy kind of things, but
Weird.
oh well. But yeah, I like Snubbull. Snubble's cute.
Yeah, very cute.
Little cutie guy. Okay, so Ash mentions, oh, so it's a grumpy girl who's not afraid to chase Pokemon. That reminds me of Misty in a way. And both
Oh,
Snubbull
burn.
and Misty like give him the stink eye.
They're like offended
He's
collectively.
like, in a good way, in a good way, in a good way. And then
Sure, Ash.
some lady comes running in. It's her Snubbull. They found this apparently is Madame Much Money.
Oh, I didn't catch the name. Is that
They
just
never name her in the
okay?
episode, yeah, but it's
So
on
she rich
Wikipedia.
lady in pearls, and she has this way of talking that's just like hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah,
my dear Snubbull,
transatlantic.
my dear
Precious
Snubbull,
Snubbly,
Snubbull.
we
Oh,
simply
oh.
cannot thank you enough.
Come to my house for lunch, shall we?
I've got little sandwiches with the
Little
crusts
dainties.
cut off.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
So they go to their house, go to her house. She has a giant conveyor belt leading to her home.
Yeah, like at an airport.
Yeah, Ash is like, for some reason, I feel like I'm in an airport.
When has Ash been to an airport?
Does a blimp place count as an airport?
I don't think
'Cause
they had those, so no.
They flew blimp to Orange Island. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, Brock doesn't think Snubbull seems very happy to be home, though.
no.
We'll keep an eye on that.
And Brock, he's suspicious throughout this episode of Snubble's happiness. And it's moments like this that I'm really reminded of his similarities to Tracy, because both him and Tracy could do this like creepy murder stare. And he occasionally just stares at Snubble.
To
like
be
I'm
fair,
suspicious.
to be fair to Tracy, I think we projected that onto him a lot more than it was actually there. But it
That's
made for
fine.
funny. It was funny, so
That's
it's
fine.
fine. And so they get inside the house, and Madame Much Money is like, "Oh, you better wipe your feet, Snubbull. We don't want to track anything in." And so everyone like frantically wipes their feet. I just thought that was funny. That was
Yeah.
a cute little bit. They wonder how many rooms are in this house, and she doesn't even know. She has to ask her butler, and
Yeah.
he's like, "There are 86 rooms at last count," because they're looking to expand it even further.
Wow.
But she takes them to Snubble's Wing. There's no time for the grand tour, but we'll show you Snubble's Wing. This is her bedroom on Saturdays.
This is her walk-in closet. More like a drive-in closet.
This is her home gym.
Oh
as
my god.
Togepi and Pikachu are on the treadmill, which is very
That's
adorable.
funny. Yeah. So the rich lady keeps Snubbull healthy inside to avoid the harsh air outside. And this is more evidence for Brock. It's pretty weird that a Snubbull isn't allowed to run outside.
Mm-hmm. And then we see Togepi and Pikachu lounging around in Snubble's private Snubble bubble bath.
Snubbull bubble bath.
Snubble
Say
bubble
that
bath.
20 times.
It's a tough one, but there are no bubbles. And she's
No.
like, I don't see any bubbles, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
She's spared no expense to make sure her Snubbull is as happy as can be, which she isn't.
Exactly. And
She is
Brock's
quite upset.
continuously suspicious of Snubble's happiness. So it is noon now. They're going to have lunch in the breakfast nook, which is also like the biggest dining hall any of them have ever seen.
Yeah, and she's like, this is the biggest dining room I've ever seen. And Much Money is like, oh, that's because this isn't the dining room. It's just the humble breakfast nook.
Humble breakfast nook. Even the food is rich, Ash says.
Yeah,
Also
there's
the
like a shitload of
jokes.
stuff.
Heyo.
Ah! And so there's a shitload of food everywhere. They're shouting down. Snubbull won't eat anything. And so Much Money's like, Jacques, you must clear the table and bring something Madame Snubbull will eat. And Jacques' like, oh, but Madame Snubbull won't eat anything. Blah, 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 blah. I've tried everything.
10 out of 10 character of the week, Chef Jacques. But madame, I make her the filet mignon.
She has no respect for the culinary arts.
Exactly. So Chef Jacques is having a breakdown, and that's when Brock steps in And we get, Kellan, a jelly donut
Quintessential
effect.
Quintessential jelly donut
Quintessential.
moment.
With the rice balls again, he brings out the onigiri, but it calls them popcorn balls. And this is bizarre. And Bulbapedia calls them out too, because Ash does something about them being disgusting.
Yeah.
Ash loves Brock's rice ball.
Exactly. He loves Brock's cooking in the first place.
Brock is established as a good chef.
Yeah, and he's eaten the rice balls before. And I'm like, yeah, these are good. These are good stuff, Brock. And now suddenly he hates them. I mean, kids do that. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Or they just decide they don't like something.
Right. They show up to supper one day and they're like, I'm never eating onions again. Well, they're like chowing down on a stew, and you're like, nobody tell them that there's onions in there.
Or onion rings.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but when I was a kid, I was devoutly against potatoes. I didn't like potatoes.
I think you have said this, yeah.
If you haven't heard this story before, though, it's a good one. Because I, as a kid, I hated potatoes. I probably didn't actually hate potatoes. I just said I did.
You got it in your head, yeah.
I loved fries. Fries were great, you know? Fries as a kid are like a good thing. You get them with like your McDonald's and stuff. As a kid, you just like fries, right? Until one of my cousins told me that French fries are made out of potatoes. And from that day, I was like, I don't like fries. If they're made out of potato, I don't like fries.
You were like
logically
internally consistent in your irrationality.
Yep.
It's pretty funny.
Eventually, I came to sanity and discovered that potatoes are one of the greatest foods.
So versatile.
As a kid, I was a pretty stupid child, but you know, what children aren't pretty stupid.
It'd be weird if the kid was smart.
Yeah. Anyway, so Snubbull eats popcorn balls.
Yeah, loves them.
And then outside, we see Team Rocket is hiding out in the bush, and we get a lot of good ones here. Whoever owns this place has more dough than a pizza parlor. And
probably have the pizza parlor too. This is how it is for the upper crust.
James would know. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. But they had to take it out to make room for my foot.
Yeah, I wrote that down, that exchange too. That was a classic Team Rocket string of puns.
And then suddenly they're relaxing, like, on the pool.
Because they're, like, going through the estate, and now they're in the pool area. And this was so funny to me, because they're lounging, and Jesse's like, why do the rich get all the money?
And Neo says, the only pool I had growing up was a cesspool.
Killed it.
What?
Well, James really lets them down, though. Growing up with everything can be terribly hard on a boy. We get this backstory about how the butlers took him fishing in the pool, but he never caught anything.
Poor guy. Oh,
and Meowth threatens him, I'm going to smash you till every bone in your body knows what it feels like to be broke.
So they continue to sneak onto the property when suddenly they come across Snubbull, and then they get caught by the staff at the place, and they run. But Snubbull chomps down on Meowth's tail, and then there's the twerps.
Yeah, alarm goes off, Bit bites down on the tail, they're running, Snubbull is still lashed onto Meowth, the gang pops up there, Ash yells, there goes the neighborhood.
Good one, Ash. Jesse takes Meowth, swings him around until Snubbull lets go.
Flies, and the rich lady catches Snubbull.
Wheezing smoke screens, and they run off. They get out of there.
Right. And Snubbull, though, is like thinking of Meowth's tail.
Yeah.
Really misses that tail.
And so Brock finally, musters it up, says it to Much Money. Snubbull is unhappy. She doesn't like it here. And Much Money is like, oh, she's just nervous because all brides are nervous on their wedding day.
What a twist.
What?
Yeah.
She's marrying Winthrop Snubblefeather.
Yeah, we get a picture of this other Snubbull, and it's basically Winston Churchill Snubbull. He's like in a top hat and a monocle. I love it.
It's beautiful. Oh my god.
When I picture like Kellan's desk, like it would have like that portrait sitting on the desk, like a picture of that Snubbull. Winthrop Snubblefeather.
If I can get my fucking printer to work, I'll do it.
Yeah, have that like framed sitting on your desk.
I will. I'll need $5 for a frame though. So.
Right, and a bunch of ink.
2 subs on Twitch will get me that. There you go.
There you go. That comes with your Amazon Prime, folks.
Hey, yeah, they use your Prime subscription. If you have Amazon Prime linked to your Twitch account, you get 1 free subscription every single month.
Ooh, good.
Mm-hmm. So this is finally where Misty and Ash are like, okay, Yeah, I think Brock's right. The Snubbull was trying to run away.
Right.
She doesn't want to be here.
Something's weird's going on.
Like, they had their suspicions, but now they're like, oh, okay, yeah, Brock
Yeah,
was
the
right.
arranged marriage thing.
Yeah.
That really cemented it.
So they're off to meet Snubbull's husband. The gang decide they want to meet or want to help Snubbull. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are bandaging Meowth's tail, where Jessie delivers, I think, the craziest joke so far, at least in Johto, where she says, Meowth, you're not the only one who deserves to have a happy ending.
You're not. Oh, you think that's a sex joke?
I think that's a sex joke.
No, I was just so unprepared to accept that.
Yes. How is that not a sex joke?
They wouldn't put that degree of sex joke in here.
But the kids wouldn't get it. All kids know about happy endings are fairy tales, and they lived happily ever after.
Is there an interpretation where she's
I don't
just
think
being
so.
more literal, and that
I
it
don't
is
think
not
so.
about Meowth ejaculating?
I don't think so.
Well,
Doesn't
they have
necessarily.
it first.
That's
Right?
it. That's what it is.
Were you gonna say it's not necessarily about ejaculation?
Well, not Meowth's specific ejaculation, just the gratification. You know, he had a good time with that.
Okay.
So
not all happy endings need to end in ejaculation.
I mean, not to make that joke.
Are you promoting gooning on the podcast?
No, but if you're
or
making a
edging?
happy ending, if you're making a happy ending joke, it doesn't have to necessarily have gone that far. To
Just
make
as
the
long
joke.
as it went somewhere.
Just a joke. As long as it went somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty confident that is, in fact, what that meant.
There you have it, folks. I said Meowth ejaculation on the podcast. I'm
I don't
very
think
sorry.
it's the first time.
Oh yeah, didn't he goo everywhere?
Maybe. I don't know if we said the specific
he
words.
gooed
but
all over the Scythers.
we made some jokes that time, yeah. So Jesse and James have a new plan. Meowth doesn't seem to know what it is, but it's pretty obvious. They're going to use Meowth as bait.
They want to catch Snubbull.
Yeah. So back at the house, the Snubbull are meeting. Both of these owners suck. Hate them both.
They're kind of clones of each other.
Yeah.
They're both snooty. This Winthrop's owner might even be more snooty than the Snubbull's rich lady.
Yep.
And they're just complimenting each other. That's such a well-groomed groom.
But we have Winthrop Snubbull Feather, and he's chowing on a bone. He seems very content.
Oh, he's liking the rich life.
He's here.
Winthrop likes nothing more than to stay inside and sample his store of gourmet bones.
To which Much Money replies, "Oh, but so does my Snubbull. She loves to stay inside." Blah 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 blah.
Blah blah blah.
But she is actively trying to get away.
Yeah.
So, but Brock has finally had enough. They've been kind of hiding in on this. They confront her. Snubbull doesn't want this. She wants to be herself and hates all the smothering. And then suddenly, Team Rocket are back.
Well, the rich lady thinks Brock is here to give them wedding presents.
Yeah.
When he freaks out. But yeah, Brock and Misty are accusing the rich lady of smothering, and then Team Rocket appear.
Yeah, Brock tells her, like, don't you ever think of what Snubbull wants? And Much Money is like, I think of Snubbull all the time. That's why I asked about the presents.
Nailed it. Rich people, am I right?
So yeah, Team Rocket, prepare for Snubbull trouble and make it double trouble Snubbull.
Okay.
And that's the
normal
that's your
chant
motto
other
thing.
than that, and then Meowth swings in on a rope.
Snubbull sees the tail. She wants it. She bites
Ooh.
it. They reel her in, and then Team Rocket throws some cufflink things over the gang that lock their legs together.
They were like batarangs. Like
Yeah.
they like throw them in ninja star style, but then they cuff their feet.
That
Very
was very weird.
sophisticated. If they have this tech, they should definitely bring it back. I think they won't. This was probably a weird one-off. Sorry to break up the party and the marriage. And then Meowth yells, "I'm in extreme pain."
And then, cut to later, Team Rocket is hiding out in a shed on the property because there's too many guards around, and Meowth thought this would be a great time to refill the balloon.
Right. He's like, rich people are full of hot air.
Yeah. But Jesse and James yell at him. They look to be like they're gonna.
The balloon wasn't
go at
empty,
him.
but your head is.
But Snubbull defends Meowth.
Ooh.
Aww, adorable. And then bites his tail again.
Yeah. Snubbull has a Meowthful.
So the gang are looking when Meowth comes running out of the shed, and they try to escape. And then we get some really good battle music that I couldn't
music
place for the
rips.
life of me. I
I'm
tried
not
to
sure
figure
either.
out what it was.
I did write down, the music really kicks in nicely.
I mean, maybe it's something original.
It's
so
not
I
the
don't know.
typical synth
No.
yet either. That happens later in the
That's
episode.
later. Like, this was pretty original, I think. Like, this isn't
Hmm.
one we've heard many times, at least, if at all.
No, not heavily reused. So it
No,
was pretty good.
it
Yeah.
was nice. So Arbok and Weezing go, they smack and smokescreen the guards when
Mhm.
Ash sends out Heracris, who snacks on flowers.
Of course. Yeah, eat
Yay.
some roses. Quit snacking and start attacking.
Tackle, Horn Attack. Arbok lands on Meowth and Snubbull, and which made Snubbull let go because she like just walks out and then bites down on Arbok,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
then Brock
bites
cheers her
Arbok's
on.
tail. The rich lady's concerned. She's like, "Don't get hurt, Snubbull." But yeah, Brock is cheering her on, and even teaches the rich lady. You're like, "Well, why don't you command her?" How do I do that? Say, use tackle.
Yeah, he's cheering on Snubbull. He's like, "Go Snubbull," and she's like, "How could you do that?" He's like, "Well, very easily. Just tell her to use tackle." And she's like, tackle
So she does
attack.
it. Tackle and Snubbull attacks, and the rich lady feels the thrill of commanded violence. She now realizes the true potential of Pokemon, and that is warfare.
And this is where the show switches protagonists, and we're now going to follow Much Money on her badge quest around Johto.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And all the underseedy deals she does.
Mm-hmm. So James sends out Victory Bell, and this is where the synth gym theme comes in.
Did you say synth gym?
Yeah,
That's
I combined gym and
amazing.
theme.
I want to call it the synth gym
The
now.
synth gym. Yeah. The synth gym comes in as Snubbull beats the shit out of everyone.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Snubble's
awesome.
on fire.
But the other woman, the Winthrop Snubblefeathers owner, doesn't think this is very dignified.
No, she's freaking out.
No. But Snubbull launches James and Victory Bell away. They all run to the balloon, but Heracross horn attacks, and looks like Team Rocket's flipping out again.
Now everyone's very proud of the Snubbull. Did a great
And-
job.
And then we get a close up of Snubbull's face, and we just get with no like movement on her face or anything. So I couldn't tell what this expression was supposed to be.
I think that's the beauty of Snubbull.
Yeah.
Is smiling and looks exactly like crying.
Exactly. So later, Much Money has finally realized that Snubbull needs to not be pampered and let to live how she wants to live. And so they even put together an entire yard for Snubbull to run around in. And they're going to look into expanding it and putting in a waterfall. My goodness.
Wow.
And there's lots of popcorn balls for her when she's hungry.
Of course.
And so the gang heads off. The woman thanks them. As the narrator says, they taught her the lesson that affection has to be earned by paying attention, not money. Aw,
Nice one.
nice lesson there.
So Snubble's gonna stay and everything's good, right?
Yeah, so Snubble's running around happy as can be when she spots a little vine, and it's curled like Meowth's tail, and she reminisces, and then runs into a bush, and out to the other side, and away. She's running away again.
Freedom.
No. Oh no! Ah!
Yeah, quite the ending. Runs away.
Yeah.
I almost wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, a little bit of a
But
twist.
I'm
honestly.
guessing we'll see Snubbull pop up, kind of like Jigglypuff-esque, but
Maybe.
just to Meowth.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I hope there's some continuity there.
But that is the episode.
Cool. So, literary hour. Well, this trope of the runaway fiance is actually pretty common, right? Like arranged marriage, someone's pushed into a marriage don't want to be in. So, I picked the book Cotillion by Georgette Heyer. It's about a young bride is being basically sold off, right? And that old school kind of pompous faction, married off, and there's like a collection of, I think a bunch of sons from some household all have the option to make offers, and while she is being offered up to these people, she runs away. You know, as one does, because that would be kind of weird to be forced.
Mm-hmm.
So she runs away, and she ends up running to London, and in a bar she meets a guy. They hit it off. Turns out he is one of the brothers
Uh-oh.
who she was supposed to marry, but he just didn't go to the thing because he also thought it was weird. So they come up with a prank. They are going to pretend they're in love, basically, to get the estate and money and like split it. So they're gonna like trick everybody. A bunch of stuff happens, and then of course they actually fall in love later. Right? It's like
Aw.
one of those reverse rom-com. Publication date 1953, but I think it's supposed to take place like, you know, Victorian era, something like that. So there
Yeah,
you
they
go.
thought-
Runaway fiance.
They thought they weren't going to fall in love, but life said, "Gotcha, bitch."
Exactly.
Pulled a
Looking
Uno
for
reverse
love
card
in
on 'em.
all the wrong places when it was
Mhm.
right in front of your nose all along.
Oh, look at that. Let's rate.
Yeah. Four.
First category will be the power of friendship.
It's not really about
Not a lot.
that, unfortunately.
It's more about the power of not understanding what the fuck your Snubbull wants.
Yeah, it's about freedom and
But
yeah,
she
and
learns
empathy.
about being more of a friend to Snubbull at the end. So there's something.
Snubbull's kind of friends with Meowth's
Yeah,
tail.
she loves Meowth, so there's something. There's some friendship there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to give very high though.
No,
This
it's
is
not
not
high.
a friendship episode. I'm gonna go quite low. Are you prepared for quite low? I'm gonna go with 2.
Ooh, flat 2.
A flat 2.
Yeah, 2.5. I don't think it's quite that low, but it's still pretty low.
It's still pretty low.
So 2.25 for that. Category number 2.
Yeah, let's get a higher one. Let's go for what do you got?
Ooh, Pokemon cries.
Oh, Snubbull's is interesting. Yeah,
Snubbull,
let's talk about that.
Snubbull. I gotta find it again. It is pretty good.
What is it? It's just like a grumpy little. It's
grump.
not even a bark. Snubbull. It's pretty good. It suits the Pokemon well. The sound is very clear in this episode. It's comedic.
Snubbull. That's it.
There were times where I was kind of aware that it was like a human making the sound, like you talked
Which makes
about.
it funny, yeah.
It makes it funny, but it's like it takes you out of it a little bit when you're like, that's clearly a person talking. They're like Snubbull.
I do like Snubble's cry, I think, more than the typical, like your
I do
average
too.
Pokemon. It's above average.
Yeah, it's unique.
Snubbull.
Yeah.
Snubbull.
And it suits the design so well.
It does. It really does. Plus, we get Victory Bells screaming. That's always fun.
Always fun.
I'm down for that. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna 7.
I'll go a little bit higher than that. Even I'll go 7.99.
Oh, gonna be that guy. Okay.
Yeah, Price is
So
Right
that's-
rules.
So 7.495 for Pokemon Cries, which is overall for Snubbull Snobbery 4.8725. So below average still. But I liked that episode. I thought it was a fun episode.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is it for this week. You want to know what we're doing next week?
I would love to know what we're doing next week.
Next week, 2 more episodes. Episode 127, The Little Big Horn, or in Japanese, Odoshishi! Exclamation mark. Forest of Illusions! Exclamation mark, question mark. Followed by episode 128, The Chikorita Rescue, or in Japanese, The Stubborn Chikorita! Double exclamation mark.
So in the first episode next week, in that title, it says Forest of Illusions. Are you telling me that we are getting 2 Forest of Illusions, 2 illusory forests, before we get to Violet City? That is insane.
Perhaps in a way. We'll have to see.
We'll see.
Yes.
That would be wild.
But that is next week, so join us for that, where we're getting some actual progress.
Okay, interesting. Very excited. Yeah, this has been fun. We will continue Johto, so stick with us.
Oh, will we? That's good. Good to
yeah, we will. We're sticking with Johto. Great engagement on the episodes lately. Loving the comments section. So for those of you listening audio only, you can also leave comments on the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/HydraLeech. Episodes go up there every Monday, just like they do on audio platforms for audio only versions. That's basically wherever you can download podcasts. Please, set to auto download. That helps the show. Rate, review, all of that would be really great on whatever platform you're on. If you have any questions, we will take questions that either about the episode or just kind of Pokemon hijinks in general. You can send that to, you can either post that on episodes or email us at To Kill A Delibird. And then you can also reach us at Twitter. To Kill A Delibird is the handle. Kellan runs a TikTok, Hydra Leeches, where he does Pokemon anime errors and that sort of fun thing. And also does the Twitch stuff. So Hydra Leech on Twitch, still doing balloons?
I haven't done a bit, but I'm probably going to get back to that in a day or 2.
All right, so check out Kellan on Twitch for some balloons action. Intro and outro music is 80 Centaway by Alexi Action. And that's it, folks, I think.
Yep, that's it.
Well, join us next week.
I'm going to eat those fucking ribs.
Oh, ribs, baby. Get them
Hell
ribs.
yeah.
Get those ribs in ya.
Excited.
Let's do it, ribs, yeah!